Hello and welcome to the show. My name is David Dadakian, and with me today is Anna Burnley, co-owner of an empire of places there in Newport. First was TSK, then came Mission, Winner, and now a new spot opening up on Nomi Park soon.
Yes.
And the Wayfinder Hotel that's opening soon.
Yep.
So welcome, Anna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. You look amazing, David, in that suit.
Geez, thank you. I'm trying to, present a show atmosphere with this.
I get it. I love it.
And I want to apologize up front if I accidentally say Anna. My girls watch Frozen all the time. It's like embedded in my head.
It's fine. I answer to both. It's totally okay.
I'm sure. Yeah, as the Frozen phenomenon taking over your family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I'm singing those at night and in the shower.
Yeah. No, I know. But yeah. So why don't we start there? Why don't we start with family? Because not only do you have yours and Tyler's family, but also your family has a background in history in the restaurant business there in Newport.
So we sort of grew up in the restaurant business. My dad has been the general manager of the Clark Cookhouse for, a long time, since we were kids. Even babies. So we grew up, running around that place. I remember we'd spend most of our days at the coffee machine, like copying our face on the Xerox machine and stuff. That was like the activity. And that was back in the day when people didn't get concerned of, 8-year-old kids running around the banisters in Bowen's Wharf,
right,
questioning where their parents were. And, it was, I guess we grew up in the biz, and I always told myself I never wanted to be part of it. I saw the stress and the long hours and, the constant demand that it brought my dad. Although he was an amazing father, he was often at the restaurant, and I sort of thought, I'm not going to get into that gig. And here I am in it, thick in it.
Yeah, not just a little bit too. You're in it.
I know. What the heck? But
I mean, a great place. I mean, the Clark Cookhouse is a staple there. I mean, so clearly he must love it.
He does, and I think I follow in his footsteps here a bit, and it sort of has that constant energy, which I definitely love, and he does as well. So we grew up in it, not so much in the kitchen side of things, but more on the administration, the admin side, and the business side. So and that led us to the kitchen really led us to us marrying, or me marrying a chef.
I was gonna say you married a chef, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah, and in order to see him, it was we had to get involved in this business. Otherwise, it was those long hours, and he was only home for 6 hours a day, kind of thing, and that would be at night. So we just decided to jump into this whole game.
You met Tyler when he was in New York, yes?
Actually, no. Tyler and I met in high school at Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came up as a junior from down south, and I'm born and raised Newporter, so I was coming in as a freshman. And so we're those high school sweetheart people,
That's nice.
So we've been together a long time. We like each other a little bit,
Well, yeah, when I first met you, it was when TSK was opened.
Yeah, the first one.
And right, the first, yes. They say people may remember there was a TSK before the TSK that exists
now.
But it's a very, very Rhode Island way to do that.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But and I knew that Tyler had cooked in New York along with his partner Chad there. That's because I remember.
That's how it started.
Mark came up. I remember meeting Mark Cordione.
Yeah, the boys. They were so. I can't really remember if it was Tyler or Chad who first started at BLT Prime, but Chad was trained and went to school in New York, and we moved there. I went to school at FIT for design, and Tyler got a gig at BLT Prime, where Mark was sort of head chef there, Mark Cordione, and the boys met and became really good friends, and that sort of started the whole trail into the restaurant life.
Right.
And then we moved back here, and this was before we opened the first TSK in 2000. 2011, and there wasn't a lot of options in Newport. It was
True.
It was sort of we were known as like this like up and coming foodie spot, which now we have a lot more options in that sort of realm.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, Newport was pretty slim pickings in regards to restaurants.
Well, it was a lot of the standard American,
big stuffed lobster.
I mean, it's interesting because the Clark Cookhouse, I would go to for the sushi. Actually. That's funny. I mean, how long were they doing that?
Well, it actually starts up. I think tonight starts sushi. That was. I think they've been doing that probably for a good 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
The Cookhouse is a scene. You go there to be seen.
Right.
And it's it's obviously different circumstances this summer with what we're dealing with. But yeah, it's that's the place to sit down, have a cocktail, and just people gaze.
Well, that was kind of Newport in general, I think. Yeah. I remember growing up here, that was off the case. And then when I would come back here and visit, we would go to what was Jonathan's place down there on Thames? Where he claims he invented the espresso martini.
Asterisks and obliques.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, that was it. And
they were really good espresso martinis.
Well, they were fantastic. I won't say they were. They were excellent espresso martinis. Yeah. But it was just funny. He always claimed that he invented that. And And I was like, all right, whatever. That's cool. I mean, if maybe you did. Who's to say? It's hard to say that sort of thing. But you kind of came along. I mean, I think Rhode Island in general was changing. I know when I moved back here in 2003, it still took a few years to find spots in Providence like Nick's or Farmstead or Chez Pascal. And then that kind of came to Newport, which is, really you were sort of the driver of that with TSK. And now, you've boomed. I mean,
like a blossoming flower over here.
Yes, exactly. So TSK was, I don't know. I mean, a great way to describe it. I mean, obviously farm to table is pretty commonplace now.
Widely used, yeah.
But at the time, it really was kind of unique in that area where it was. And also I remember it was fun because you were BYOB for a while there.
Yeah, it's that was sort of one of our main reasons for having to close the first TSK is, we only had about, I think there were 20 seats in there. And with it being BYOB, it was just financially not going to work out.
Right.
So, we closed it, expecting it to be sort of on hiatus for a bit until we found the right spot. And it was actually our linen guy who came into Winner because we turned it into the chicken spot, who came in one day. And those guys are the best because they know where every place is opening up. They're the gossip king and queens in town, right?
Yep.
So he came in.
I know guys at Falvey that just
it's Falvey. Yeah, they're great. It was Wayne, if you're watching. So he came by and said, I hear rumor that Albert is going to close up Revolving Door and is looking for someone to come in really with an extended stay because he was doing these little 2-3 month stints with chefs.
Right.
And Albert's an awesome guy. So Chad met up with him and decided to open up TSK2, and we were gonna sort of come in with a new name and rebranding and all that, and we just thought, we had a great following, and we think that the hype to reopen would be really really good. So we just we sort of refer to it as TSK 2.0.
Sure.
But that's been great, and it's a game changer with the full liquor license.
Oh, absolutely. No, of course. Yeah, I think people have heard that many times that liquor makes or breaks sometimes the ticket, the full check.
Yeah.
And, it is extremely important, I think. And I mean, in general, I mean, even as a diner, you want to enjoy something that is, essentially curated for you.
For sure.
I mean, I could certainly, grab a bottle and come into TSK, the original one, but, I didn't know what I was going to order. And so I was just kind of like, oh, I guess I'll bring this. And, and it was great. We were there at TSK2, the holidays. We were there sometime the week before, between Christmas and New Year's. And, I mean, it was a spectacular meal, wonderful. And the wine list was great. I mean, I really loved the list a lot. So, it was nice.
I take zero credit, zero. Really, I do. It's all Chad's doing. He's a genius there in the kitchen. So that's all him.
Yeah, no, it was really a great experience. So, all right. So, but let's back up. Before you came to TSK2 and before even Winner, right? Mission was open while you still were at TSK1.
Yeah. So TSK 1 was 2011, and it hung around for 5 years, and then in the middle, we 2013 felt that there was a market for a burger restaurant. And along with my two other sisters and my other brother-in-law, we sort of put our heads together and came up with the idea of Mission, which the name, actually the spot we were in Newport, which is currently closed, not sure what its status is, but that was, it used to be called Mission way back in the day. It was a speakeasy. It was, I believe it was actually the first liquor license ever granted in Newport was in that spot. So it was called The Mission. So we took out the and stuck with the name. And we opened that October of 2013. And yeah, it's been crazy ever since. What are we now? 2020. So almost 7 years. And we've got the Middletown location now. Not exactly sure what's happening with the Newport one. It's, with all that's going on, we've closed that for about 2.5 months now. But yeah, so we've expanded over to Middletown, which has been really great because there's not a whole lot of options in that area. And yeah, so Missions are a real baby for sure. And it's
I didn't realize that about the name. I remember it as Billy Goods.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, we took that place over. There were some scary things in there.
Oh, I can't imagine. That was a great dive bar. I really liked that bar a lot. That was a fun place. But yeah, it was history. So yeah, I can't imagine what was in there when you cleared it out.
Weird, strange things and bottles, and I don't even know. I often have nightmares about it. But yeah, Broadway. It's like this. I feel like one day it's just gonna. It's like there's gonna be this big sinkhole. We're all just gonna go floating right into it. But we started that in 2013. We're almost 7 years in here, and it's actually been revitalized a lot over there. They've really
done. You were kind of the first. I mean, Sue was always there.
Sue's always been there. I mean, there's a number of places that have been there, but we've seen the real transformation.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they've done a great job, and it's the urban part of Newport, if there is really an area that we can call urban here.
Yeah, no, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah. I would, I've been hoping and the groups that I talk with, trying to get Broadway to close off for a bit to maybe help people out during these times. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but yeah, it's a off the tourism-y part of the town. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I always, I've always said that it's sort of where it's like the Providence side of Newport, or at least we hope,
Yeah,
we want to be as cool as Providence, all right?
Oh, you certainly you led that area. I mean, like I said, there were a few that were around up before, but you led that area in becoming more of a spot. All right, so now Mission's running. You've got TSK. You decided to close, but you've got that building, so
yeah.
Just a brilliant choice in my opinion, because again, not the type of thing that was around a lot, a fried chicken joint.
Right. Well, you know what it was? I'm in my car for everybody questioning, literally outside the hotel right now. So what happened was the fried chicken was always the most popular item on the TSK menu.
Oh, right. I remember that now. Yeah.
It was fried chicken and Spetzel, and it was funny because we had, these other really beautifully plated dishes and, amazing ingredients and everyone chicken and Spetzel. So we thought, why not, Mission was doing really well as the fast casual setup. And we thought it would be a good idea to just try to do it with the white meat side of things. And so Winner came to life just shortly after TSK closed. So I think it was like 2016. I don't know. It's all a blur.
Yeah, no.
It's all a blur. We had kids, lots of babies were born in between all this, and
Yeah, that's true. You really never slowed down.
I think every time we opened a restaurant, I was pregnant with something. It was like we were rebirthing at all different angles. It was weird.
Right. And then it would seem like at least from photos on social media, of course, Tyler was building something.
Yeah, no. So that we have this problem where we want to DIY everything,
right?
And it's a true problem, and it's it can get really messy. But Tyler's it's funny because Chad's like he's the kitchen guy, recipes. He's the real trained chef. And Tyler's always been sort of the jack of all trades, the guy that gets in there, can build the table, bust out a cement bar, fix the dishwasher, get the lights up and running. So I like to think that I'm sort of the design side of it all. So I guess we have a pretty set package. Seems to work.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I mean, I think that's a very good point. Each spot is a cohesive whole. To visually, food wise, service wise, I would definitely say especially even not even, but the fast casual spots are also, they've got their flow. They work well. They've got their little things like the little trophies or the little dinosaurs that bring some personality and life to the places.
We miss using those. We haven't used our dinosaurs and our trophies since the middle of March.
Yeah. Oh, this has been
we probably won't be able to for a while.
Well, I don't know if you heard today's announcement. It'll be a couple days old by the time I put this video up, but June 1st is okay for indoor dining.
I know.
We've been the groups I've been talking to have been pushing that for a while now. Just to pick a date. If the science works and the data works, that's obviously the first and foremost. But if it does, and the health department has decided it does, then here we go for June 1st. The other side of the coin, which we've discussed. You discussed with. Sorry, I got the windows open today.
It's okay. It's beautiful.
The other side of the coin, which I saw you and a group of restaurant owners discuss with Ryan from What's Up Noop last week, is what are diners going to want to do?
Right.
I think it's a big mystery. Obviously a lot of the people that we talk to love restaurants, want to go back into them. But there's a million people in the state, in this area, tourism and everything. I don't know. What do you feel? How do you think it's going to be? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, we have our first night tonight. We're opening the patio at TSK, and we're pretty book solid. We can only fit about. I think we ended up about 20 seats, and we'll do 2 turns just because our kitchen staff is really small right now. It's Chad and our girl Alyssa, and we don't really know what to staff. So
she's something else, though. By the way,
she's awesome. Yeah. It's so nice to have some female energy in there. Let me tell you.
I would imagine.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know. I mean, we've gotten a lot of feedback from our regulars that they're just excited to get back. We spent like an hour last night trying to figure out the menus, and do we want to print them, throw them away? Do we want to laminate them and wipe them off? It's all these little things that we've already put into place that we're now recreating. This new experience for everybody. So it will be interesting. I can only hope that I think for the customer actually sitting there, because they can sort of go without the mask while they're eating and drinking. I think it would be more like the visual, the whole staff's wearing masks and there's sanitizers everywhere, and everyone's spaced out. So I think visually it's going to be a little strange, but maybe when they're head down looking at the plate of food, they've got their cocktail in front of them, they're having a chatter with their friends, maybe they just forget about all that. We can hope.
Yeah, I think so, especially at least with good weather and outdoor dining, that also adds to it. I think that's always been the case, more so in Newport than in Providence, probably. People are more used to that. But are you finding a lot of parties of 5, or because that was
all parties of 5?
They are. Oh, great. Oh, well, that's good to hear, because that was definitely something we discussed back and forth with Commerce. We tried to get 6,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, the guideline is 5, so we got to stick to 5. And again, understandable. But some of us were like, who's going to be? It's all 4s and 2s, but that's here.
Well, now it's like that fifth wheel, like that poor guy who's not there with his girlfriend. Yeah, so you're not going to have couples, but no, we have I would say a good percentage of the tables tonight are 5 tops.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that they're full tables. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, and I think people are just, well, especially because it's 70 degrees out today, so weather helps.
Yeah.
Tomorrow should be interesting. It's supposed to rain till about 6. Percentage low, but
Derek and I have been texting because he built a patio out behind.
I saw it.
It's a great job, but he doesn't. It's not a lot of lighting, so he's running 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. 9 a.m. because he does brilliant breakfast and brunch. And today he's full, but like tomorrow it's like
I know.
It stinks.
I'm like, do I go get pop-up tents? But then what if the rain's coming in a diagonal direction and then everyone's getting soaked?
Yeah. I've had that discussion with a few people on the hill that have big umbrellas, and they're like, they're gonna tell people if you get a little spritz, you get a little spritz. They're sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I think, people have to adapt.
Yeah. They got to be flexible.
Yeah.
We told all the reservations for Saturday that if, weather turns and it gets really bad, that we'll pack up their food as takeout. Right. And they can just come in. Yeah, because the thing is, Chad's done a full order for our Saturday, session, so it's not like we can lose out on our seatings there because we have the food prepped.
Absolutely true, and I hope. I think the hardest thing to do is, because it's kind of my end of the world is media and getting the word out to people, and it's become so fractured. It's hard to, I'll post a video on Facebook, I'll do Instagram, I'll do this and that. But I don't know, I reach, 15, 20,000 people. It's not like, you can put an ad in the newspaper and hope that everyone reads it anymore.
Right.
And that's been a lot of concern is, how do people know what the procedures are? How do people know, how to act? I don't mean how to act like politeness and all, because hopefully everyone will be polite and not, come on. I've just been posting "Don't be an asshole," and people have been like, kind of bad. And I want to say to everyone who's watching, I don't mean you, because I know you watching right now are not an asshole.
Yeah, the people that are watching, and quite frankly, those assholes, we don't want them there anyways.
Well, that's it.
They don't respect the art of it. They don't respect what we're dealing with and the boundaries that we have now. And it's like, go, what? I don't know. Can we get X-rated on this? Just jerks. They're just jerks.
And it's a very small minority, but unfortunately they're vocal. So when they do happen, it's that much more obnoxious.
And we see red, David. That small minority really gets under our skin.
Oh yeah.
Because unfortunately, they're the ones that don't understand the true blood, sweat, and tears of this business. And as much as I don't read Yelp, I don't read any of those things.
God, no.
I wouldn't get out of my mind. No, never. But it does. It irks you for like a good 2-3 hours, and then you sort of fade out of it, and you're like, all right, let's move on. But
and the other difficulty, I think, is you're an owner, so you it's a little more in your wheelhouse, but your standard server should not be required to deal with some of the things that unfortunately they're going to have to deal with now.
Yeah.
Please put on a mask, sir.
I know.
Don't bunch up at the back. And hopefully again, people are understanding. But it's a brand new system for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to be, we've heard, a lot of people talk here in Newport, and there's a lot of people calling in, do we have to wear masks? Are they required? So we're going to have to set a babysitter for a little bit, which is unfortunate because no one wants our customers to feel like we're babysitting. But, otherwise it's, we don't know. Is DOH going to walk around and make sure we're all following the rules?
Yeah, we've been told that there's a group of people from DBR and DOH that are going to be inspecting, but there's thousands of restaurants. It's I'm not saying that obviously, and I think that's the other thing people keep forgetting is I keep getting these documents with sanitation rules and everything, and every single one, I kid you not, every document I've read, I read through it and I go, yeah, restaurants do all this.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
I'm not forwarding this to anyone because every restaurant I know does all this.
Like the sanitizing of I think one of it said sanitize the silverware. Well, obviously.
Right, exactly.
I mean, these are quite quick. If you are not following those procedures already, you should not be operating a restaurant.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I one of the documents from Commerce. They're like, did you forward that to your network? I was like, no, I'm sorry.
No.
Nothing in there. It would just be annoying. I mean, and once I explained it to them, and it was nice because actually Dr. McDonald, from the Department of Health was on, and one of the restaurant owners, I think it was either Chris from Siena or Steve from Parkside, said, our dishwasher gets 180 degrees. And he immediately heard that and he's like, oh, then you're fine. Yeah. Like as soon as he heard that, he knew you were fine. But it's like, if you're not in that and you don't know the systems, your first reaction as a health, department head is just tell people, oh, sure. You can't, you gotta do better than, you gotta do plastic or whatever. And thankfully, as these conversations happen, they realize that the sanitation levels in restaurants is almost like a doctor's office. I mean, really, and what I keep telling people, and I've said this for years and years and years when I unintentionally butt heads with the Department of Health, is no one wants to get a customer sick. Like that's, I mean, I would always say, I was like, do you understand what happened to a restaurant if you published that they gave a customer salmonella or something? Right. Like, that's the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You go under 100%.
Yeah. So I think, but I think customers in general know sanitation is safe at restaurants. It's all the hospitality aspect of it that I think is going to be a little hard.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little strange. I mean, I'm also, for us, because we're very small at TSK, I'm concerned about the no walk-ins. We have a lot of people who sometimes don't show up for their reservations, and that table will sit empty.
Yeah.
And if we've got, somebody coming by and saying, oh, we'll snag that. I mean, I guess we could say, yeah, sure, go over the corner, give us a call.
Right.
We'll make the reservation and then walk back over.
I mean, in theory, if you take their name and phone number and everything, you should be able to let them sit. And again, I think that's one of those areas where, you can't have people walking in, but if a reservation drops for some reason, that's another thing I posted. I mean, no one should ever no-show ever, no matter what. This is definitely not the time.
I know. And you try I need your credit card information, and then you get shit for that. And
yeah, no, I know. I've had that conversation with Ben at Birch, and he's, thought about, charging people because they do that in big cities, obviously. And
right.
And James at Big King was doing a $5 deposit at one point, and I was like, who's going to really care about their $5? I mean, I love James to death, and good for him for trying these things. But it's like, you got to make it hurt a little bit, I guess. I don't know. It's tricky, and I just hope right now that's one of the last things people have to worry about.
I think it will be. I mean, what else are they doing that they can't show up for their reservation? There's not a whole lot of events or other things going on in town. So no excuse.
No. And if someone is sick or something, they'll call and
right. Yeah, I guess there's the excuse. Don't come in.
That's a valid excuse right now, yeah.
That's a real thing. That's a total real thing.
Or Dolphin, don't show up.
Yeah, oh God.
Call, but don't show up.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about throughout all this and, before this started, but you're opening a new place.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in my car because we just did all the plants today. So we were potting everything. And we are opening Nomi Park, which is at the Wayfinder Hotel. This is was the old mainstay. It's in the North End area. Right near the old High Line, you come up the bridge, it's sort of the first thing you see. Yeah. But this has been a project in the making over like a year and a half now, which has been crazy because we've spent a lot of time on all these very little finite details, and we've now had to sort of spend the last 2 months redoing everything in regards to room stuff and guest experiences and events, and we have banquet rooms. We've had to cancel those kind of corporate events, and so we were hoping for we were hoping that June 1 was when she was going to start the dine-in service. So we're gonna go for we're shooting for that June 1 opening at 50% capacity. The same time the hotel would be open to guests, depending on who's coming into town. Not sure about that yet. I think she said the ban is going to lift June 1.
As long as they're not coming from a state that does a stay-at-home order, which, as far as I know, I think Ted or Ian posted this afternoon, the only place with the stay-at-home order left is New York City.
Yeah.
Or the rest of them expire this weekend. So I would hope by June 1st, there are no more stay-at-home orders, and people will be able to travel here.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's huge for tourism. I mean, in Newport, the summer, May to October, that's the summer for a lot of hotels.
Yeah, it's weird. We would be, if this was a typical summer, it would just be, chaos here. We'd be running around, and now we're sort of at this slow pace, although anticipating something, but just not quite sure what that's going to be.
Right.
We had a pretty solid booked summer here, and it went to literally nothing. Went to zero.
Yeah.
Which is
I have no events. I have nothing really scheduled except one farmers market.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sad that we cram everything into this state for almost July and August. Like those are the 2 months that for some reason that's all anyone ever wants to plan, are July and August. Yeah. But fall is a beautiful time of year. There's not a lot of events going on. And I was just thinking, and a little confused as to why a lot of these organizations didn't try and postpone or push to fall. And maybe it's for planning purposes.
Well, I think some of it's planning. Some of it is the discussions I've had with some folks is there's so much now that's going to end up in the fall. So that's a little difficult, but I think we have to try and adapt as best as possible.
Yeah, well, Nomi Park is super exciting. We the two guys, Phil and James, they've been working in hotel development for a number of years, and this is their first baby on their own through Dovetail, which is their company. And Phil has ties there. His wife is from Barrington, born and raised. So he's got some Rhode Island ties, and they've been great. So much fun to work with, and they're really trying to really grasp the local community as opposed to a lot of the hotels in town here, which are geared more towards the tourists.
Right.
So we got on board. We were on board right away, and it's been a lot of fun. It's going to be a really awesome menu and feel.
Yeah.
And we got a big bar.
Can you give us any examples of the menu, or?
Yeah. So, well, actually, our website is live. I just haven't told anybody yet.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've seen the Instagram, but I didn't know the website was live. Okay.
Yeah, website's live as of I think yesterday. It's funny because we don't know. Like, I don't know how much to put out there because we can't have a big group just like the masses run in, which I'm not expecting, but we sort of have to be at this limited capacity. So we're just taming ourselves in regard to any sort of PR on this. But yeah, our website has all the menus, and it's we've got, I think there's like 110 seats, a 30-seat bar. We've got a lounge solarium area, which is sort of going to be for cocktails, and they're more coffee height tables, so a small limited menu there. There's a whole grab and go cafe, which we're selling Nitro Bar coffee at.
Nice.
So that's set up, and then we had this great entertainment / pool raw bar area in the works for summer, which we're not exactly sure what's happening there. We're going to have food trucks all popped up, which we've had to cancel most of those. But so menu.
It'll gradually change. I think that'll be back. Yeah.
It will. So we're sort of calling this usually you do this soft opening for about a few weeks, and this is going to be like a
long soft opening.
Yeah, softest opening ever, which could be good. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, there's worse things. I mean, obviously it's good, by any means, but there are worse things than having a long soft opening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But the menu, it's sort of like, we've actually almost opened a lot of restaurants. And so we've always had these like extra menus sort of flying around. So we combined those as well as sort of the staples of the last 10 years that we've been in business. A lot of, classic New England dishes with sort of little twists here and there. We have our guy, Matt, who was running TSK for us. He's come over here as the executive chef. He's amazing. And so this is also his baby and his menu as well. And yeah, it's all exciting. Great cocktails. The hotel game is fun. I've learned a lot. Definitely a different ball game over here. But,
yeah, I'm friendly with Dino and Frank, who run the restaurants in a bunch of hotels in Providence and one in South Kingston. So I've gotten to know them over the years, and I've learned a lot from Dino about just how complex it is.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, down to like magazines in the room, and all these little things that you just don't think, you don't think happen.
Well, I mean, room service and
oh yeah,
the kitchen's essentially 24 hours a day.
Yeah, we'll be open breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week, which we've never done before. We've always had Mondays off, but room service. So we're essentially operating all of the F&B outlets.
Right.
I think 6 a.m. till about 11.
How big a banquets can they do?
I think both rooms are about 100 each. There's so blessing in
that's a little different. That's a little different than plating food at TSK.
Yeah. Oh God, no. When we were going through all of the the stuff to get for banquets, and it was so it's sort of this weird blessing in disguise, and it's not a blessing, but perhaps the wrong word for it. But we were planning on opening full throttle with all outlets. We had banquets booked. We were doing the pool, the pop-ups, the cafe, the restaurant, the solarium, and it may have been a little crazy.
That is a lot. That's like
5
places at once. Yeah.
Well, at the same time, manning 5,000 other things. So right. It's
Oh, I lost you. Slow. I lost you for a second there.
Oh, I was saying, I guess we could find the silver lining in all this a little bit.
I think that's what everyone has to do. There has to be some way to find some silver linings. That's the best. I mean, that's humanity. That's what we do. We try and we persevere and keep going. And this has shown us how hard that can be. But you just got to keep doing it. Yeah. And there's lots of good people around. I mean, that's the other nice thing. There's lots of really nice people around.
Yeah, it's sort of brought together like this. We have a lot of amazing restaurant friends in town, but there's others that you don't usually even pay attention to, honestly. And we've all sort of come together as this beautiful solidarity has happened amongst everybody, and we're all helping each other out, and we're all each other's biggest fans, and just want to see everybody be able to get through this, and it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah. So I've got my questionnaire that I end every interview with. But I didn't know if there's anything else you wanted to add before we got to the question.
No, the only thing is a lot of people are questioning where to get updates, especially now because there's so much different information. So for us, it's all of our social media pages, mainly Instagram, is where and websites is where we'll have updates on, especially Nomi Park, as we try to open here in the next few weeks. Website will most likely be up to date information.
Right. Yeah. When I post these, I tag everything I can. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, people will be able to find those. Yeah.
Okay.
So all right. So this is a little questionnaire I sort of borrowed from the old Inside the Actor Studio and adapted it. So here we go. What is your favorite word?
Fuck. Sorry. Did I say that? Should I choose a new one?
Sure, you can do whatever you want. That's a common one. I mean,
that was the first thing that came to my head.
All right, there you go.
So bad.
No, hey.
It just truly it can mean a lot of different things,
Right. What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
It's a common one for a lot of people.
Moist is the worst word ever.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Well, I'm not a very spiritual person. Although my sister would be upset that I just said that. Always wants to read my cards, and I'm just not there. I'm not that level. Creatively is where I feel I am most, and it would be, I guess, inspiration just from other designers and creators, really. So I would say, things like Pinterest and, social media outlets. And yeah, I have definitely a creative mind. I went to school for fashion design. So yeah, and emotionally, I'm also known for not having a lot of emotions. I don't know. People say I'm not very emotional. It's because I don't cry a lot. But I mean, I do sometimes cry. Emotionally, wait, what was the question again? I lost it.
What turns you on?
Oh, my husband.
Good answer. That's the answer we would hope for, right?
Oh, okay, there you go. Got it.
Yeah. So now, what turns you off?
Oh, what turns me off? Rude people, mean people, bullies. Yeah, I just people who just don't appreciate, or I guess are just a little ignorant when it comes to, the life of a restaurateur and what we go through.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say that definitely turns me off.
That's another hopeful silver lining throughout all this. Is there's been so many stories written about the process of running a restaurant and everything, that hopefully that's getting more out there in the public.
Oh yeah.
I know it's been weird in some of these meetings I get on, these conference calls with business people from around the state. They're all different sectors: finance, law, the whole nine yards. And when one of us mentions that the margins at a restaurant is like 5-6%, all these other guys are like, "Why would you do that?"
I know. We often question it.
I mean, but it's for love. It's for love, obviously. Often this one guy's like, some lawyer's like, "Why would I ever run a business like that? I make 30% interest, margin on my law firm," and it's like,
oh yeah, no, people, you would be surprised. For some reason, we own now 5 businesses, restaurants, and people think I am just rolling in the dough. And let me tell you, if I was rolling in the dough, I'd be I wouldn't be at the front asking if you want fries with that. I'd have a full-time nanny doing laundry. I mean,
oh man,
there's no rolling in the dough. Yeah, the margins are slim. Yeah. So we're in it because we love it.
Right. All right, this one you kind of answered already, but what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, well, yeah. I went to school in Italy for 2 years.
Oh.
And I went for fashion design, but the word fuck over there is vaffanculo. So that's always a fun one, because then they don't know you're saying it to them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of swear words, but that would be my favorite word is that one.
I like that. That's great. What sound or noise do you love?
My baby's laugh. Yeah, she's sweet. I mean, she's also a pain, but she's 1.5 years and she's got the best little laugh.
That's what kids are. Yeah.
They are. God, you have girls. You know what it's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I think what everybody hates is that chalkboard. It's the nails down the chalkboard. I think that really loud motorcycles coming down Thames Street in hordes of 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really hate that many sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite ingredient?
Oh, that's a good one. Butter. I like butter.
Solid answer. I like that. I no one said that yet. I like that. Yeah, butter is something about
butter is a real ingredient. No oils with my egg. I want butter. One of those things. If you're on a deserted island, what would you be left to eat? And it would be bread and butter.
Yeah. No, that's good. A little sea salt, maybe, if you're on.
Yeah, just a little sea salt on top.
What is your least favorite ingredient?
I honestly like everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm not a huge coconut fan, but I wouldn't say it's it's my least favorite ingredient. I really like a lot of flavors. Hence why we're in the restaurant biz. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, true. So, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I want to start this athletic, athleisure line called Recess. And I also, in my next life, would like to own like a flower shop, a floral shop.
Huh. Okay. I mean, you've got a lot of great branded swag for the restaurant, so I can see the athletic line. That would be cool.
I know you can only go so far with a burger restaurant and your swag, you know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. The boys tell me that all the time. They're like, "Let's remind you, it's a burger restaurant, Anna." I was like,
"But you do. You have a lot. It's fun."
Yeah. So yeah, I went to school for fashion design, and I just like anything in the creative field is fun for me.
Right.
Yeah.
What profession would you not like to do?
I could never sit at a desk from 9 to 5. Yeah, I could never do that. I don't really know how to stay still, relax. I mean, I can relax, but even before kids and businesses, I always had a to-do list. I always like to go through it. I always, the wheels were constantly turning. The mind doesn't shut off. So I think a 9 to 5 would drive me nuts.
I understand.
Yeah.
And then, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Isn't that funny? Are these really what they asked on the Actors Studio?
Yeah.
Oh God. Was it all worth it? I guess.
Was it all worth it? Is a solid.
Was it all worth it?
Solid answer. Solid question.
Yeah. We are. I say, as restaurant owners, we often ask ourselves that: is this worth it? The answer is yes. That's why we're still in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's love.
Yeah. It puts a roof over our heads, food on the plate. The flexibility is there. We watched our kids grow up.
Right.
Yeah, it's been good to us.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Anna. This has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, David. That was